If you stay in Melbourne, take a day and jump on the train to Ballarat, a town nestled in the Central Highlands of Victoria, whose name is said to derive from two Aboriginal words, Bala, meaning bent elbow, and Arat, meaning resting place. The Ballarat region was originally inhabited by the Wadawurrung people, Indigenous Australians. However, in 1851, the discovery of gold near Ballarat triggered the Victorian Gold Rush. In 1854, local miners organised an armed rebellion against government forces known as the Eureka Rebellion. The rebellion led to a fairer goldfield system giving miners the right to vote, one of the first steps on the path to Australia's democracy. Arriving in Ballarat early in the morning, we were greeted by the crisp late summer air. After a heartwarming Australian brekkie, we set off for Sovereign Hill, a living museum that recounts Ballarat's history as a bustling gold rush town. Since its creation in 1970, Sovereign Hill has attracted visitors from all over Australia and the world, injecting $260 million into Victoria's economy every year. The dynamic recreation of an 1800s gold rush town includes authentic shops, houses, a theatre, bakeries, a sweet factory and a pub. What really brings the experience to life are the locals dressed and acting as they would have done back then. Miners panning for gold and showing you their tents, women shopping with baskets, redcoat soldiers parading through the streets. Or musicians playing their country songs to passers-by. Sovereign Hill is a wonderful recreation of 1850s Ballarat, and we found the visit thoroughly enjoyable, especially as the cold, wet weather kept the crowds away, allowing us to explore each attraction without long queues. We enjoyed wandering through shops selling Australian hats and souvenirs, as well as exploring furnished period houses. With dozens of buildings to choose from, let's step into the hotel together and soak up the atmosphere of a bygone era. Look at this cute house. We really enjoyed visiting it. We even imagined what it would be like to live there. We went to the school, but neither the headmistress nor the pupils were there. It must have been a holiday. So we visited the church, but it wasn't time for Mass. It felt like we'd been transported into one of those old westerns we'd seen at the cinema. Some of the highlights of the town included a descent into the mine's underground passages. We truly felt like adventurers in an Indiana Jones movie.
I'll talk about that as we go along, sir. Okay, now watch that first beam there. This demonstrates the original shafts and what they looked like. So it's got 4 sections. The first section has a water pump because every mine in Ballarat that went down 100 metres or more hit a water table. That's rock saturated with water. Dig into those rocks, the water comes into your mine, you've got to pump the water out. It's a steam powered pump and it pumps 22,000 litres of water per hour out of the mine, and it'll use 2 tonnes of wood a day burnt to provide the steam for that.
We also explored the trades of that era, including the boiler house with its impressive machinery. What a stunning feat of engineering.
T'as les horaires? À quelle heure tu fais le ruisseau?
Next, we visited the wheelwrights and coach builders' house. We learned that, to this day, they still craft beautiful coaches for Australian farmers using the most traditional methods. In a world where craftsmanship is becoming rare, we were delighted to see this tradition being kept alive. We wandered between the various buildings and factories. After visiting the fire brigade, the undertaker, and the candle maker, we headed to the confectioner who handcrafts the iconic and delicious raspberry drops, a treat found only at Sovereign Hill. We spent some time watching the blacksmith at work. What a fascinating craft. After all these visits, we were famished. We went to the town restaurant and tried some iconic British specialities. Who doesn't love a good fish and chips and some scrumptious tea time scones? After filling our stomachs with delicious, comforting food, it was time to try our hand at gold panning on the digging sites. Like all the men, women, and children who did the same many years ago in the hope of changing their lives, we searched for gold. Did we find our fortune? Not exactly. What we found were a few flakes, which we brought back home in a small souvenir bottle. What better way to immortalize this day than by taking a picture? But not just any picture. A photo taken in an 1850s photography studio. After dressing up as Gold Rush characters, we were ready for the picture of a lifetime.
That's not your real smile. There it is. That's his real smile. We want that one.
All good days come to an end. Before saying goodbye to Sovereign Hill and its past, which has shaped Australia's history, we played a traditional game of bowling. We took a final stroll to soak up the history that emanates from this place and admire the view of the Australian countryside. Goodbye, Ballarat. Thank you for all these wonderful memories and the knowledge you've shared. Until we meet again.
From this old town we gotta go. Our bags are packed, so what we waiting for? There's no point in delaying what we both already know. Escape this time.